Hey, what's going on out there? This is Leonel Del Rey. I'm here with N.Y.C, the rock slash techno star, and we're here by the water in the meatpacking district. And I just have a couple questions for the singing sensation. Anna, when did you first realize you were meant to do music?
I've always felt like I was meant to do art of some kind, but there was a moment when I was 14 and my friends and I had a rock band.
Cool.
And we used to practice in my friend's father's basement. And he was a touring musician, and he had retired, but he would always come down and listen to me singing.
Right.
And want to play whenever I was singing. And then he would bring his friends to come down and jam with me.
That's awesome.
And for some reason, they were really moved by the way I sang, and I didn't understand that like singing could really be an art form.
Wow.
Like musical expression could really be sort of an art form.
That's amazing.
Because I was surrounded by kind of bubblegum pop, so it was really cool that what I was doing was moving people, and I didn't even realize that I had it in me.
Absolutely.
Until then, and that was kind of the first nudge.
So like such a natural expression kind of became your superpower. You didn't even know, but people just kind of let you know that you had something, special.
Yeah, and there have been many occasions where I've just sung in casual situations, and people respond pretty profoundly to it.
That's amazing.
So when that type of thing happens, you know it's a calling.
Absolutely.
And not just the singing, just the whole music.
Absolutely.
And there have been a couple of other occasions where it's kind of called to me, and those have come in the form of me meeting people who are very successful in the music industry and just feeling this sort of synergy with them.
Absolutely.
Where I didn't really necessarily feel like I fit in other places. I felt this instantaneous connection to that world.
It's amazing. I don't know if there's a better answer than that. So what were some of your earliest music inspirations? Like, who are the people that sort of inspired you to go further?
Oh boy, early. Well, I have so many musical inspirations.
Yeah.
But let's start with early.
Yes, let's start with early.
My all-time favorite band is Pink Floyd.
That's dope.
And I know you mentioned you like Pink Floyd a lot.
The Wall is one of the first movies I watched, like, that really freaked me out as a kid. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it was like, music. It was like a super duper long sort of like music video, and it just it changed my life. That movie actually. Yeah.
And so I was very inspired by how they sort of layered sounds together, and also they were still are, very poetic in the way that they write songs.
Absolutely.
And their music also has a groove. And at the time, rock was really the big thing.
Right.
And so they took, groove and music that you can really get your body to, and they laid poetry over it, and they took artistry and applied it to their art.
That's so dope.
They applied it to popular music.
Yeah.
And then there's so many other inspirations. I won't spend 100 years talking about them.
Right.
But after that, I kind of got into the 80s new wave stuff.
Cool.
So bands like Depeche Mode, just any sort of synth pop bands that were using synthesizers to create pop music. And as I was saying before, I just fucking love synthesizers.
Anna fucking loves synthesizers. You don't understand.
All different synthesizers. And I just remember when I saw that synthesizer, the first time I saw those synthesizers being used in music, my eyes just lit up, and I said, I'm going to get a synthesizer.
And you did?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Fast forward to more modern times.
Yeah, right.
Because that was 1980.
Yes.
I wasn't alive in 1980, but that's when that music was popular.
Right.
Fast forward, now I got really inspired by great sort of EDM artists like Armin van Buuren, Calvin Harris.
Yes, you told me about that.
Above and Beyond, who I was mentioning earlier.
That's right. You still got to put me on to them. I'm not there yet, but
just have a listen.
Yes, I'm gonna check it out. I'm with you on the Calvin Harris.
Yeah.
I discovered him when I was in Australia. He's super dope. But I'm gonna have to get back to you on the other ones.
Definitely, because he's great. He's extremely commercial.
Yes.
There's a lot of sort of more genre specific artists within electronica and EDM that they're amazing.
And you go a bit deeper.
Yeah. And deep house.
And deep house.
Speaking of deep.
Okay, Jesus Christ, you got to write me a list.
I actually have a deep house record coming out soon. So.
Dope. I got another question for you.
Yeah.
So, where does your music come from? So, what I mean by that is like, like when you write, is it more of a sort of a completely internal thing, almost spiritual? Is it more of like a, pain from your past? Is it an observation of life and other people? Maybe your music is about, your observations of others, through the lens of yourself. Like, where does your music come from?
Well, at the core of it does come from this sort of spiritual impulse to bring out this life force.
Right.
I feel like through my music, I can bring out life. I can convey life. I can give life.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of the core of it. And then
cool.
above it, I do draw inspiration from all sorts of experiences.
Right.
One of them being the joy and the desire to get up and dance, because I do a lot of dance music.
Yes, you're dancing right. You're dancing right now.
Also, storytelling. Just whenever I either experience stories or I read stories or I want to tell stories, I get inspired by that. I get inspired by sounds and by, as I was saying before, since I love synthesizers, there could be just a synthesizer sound that generates a song for me. So I take inspiration from all different sources. It's
amazing. And in case you guys forgot, Anna loves synthesizers. She loves them. So why electro? Because you mentioned that you were rock and roll, right? Mm-hmm. Pink Floyd does have sort of electric sound too. Mm-hmm. But why electro? Why techno as opposed to? Because you have a great voice to just pop or a cappella or whatever, jazz. Like there's so many other different forms.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
There's something about electronic music that lends itself to being super creative and experimental. There's so much that you can do with the technology, and also it's a scene.
Right.
EDM is a scene. You go, you dance, you experience the music on sort of a bodily level.
Got you.
And there's the logistics of it. I think I don't depend on anyone else to make the record.
It's amazing.
I'm completely self-contained. And I remember when I used to have bands, you'd have to rely on all the members to show up, and they'd have to stick around. And it's logistically it's harder.
Gotcha.
It's a combination of factors.
Gotcha. So practically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just it's easier, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But but also you like the way it makes you feel, like that the community and stuff like that.
And also just it's modern. It sounds very modern. It sounds almost futuristic.
Yeah. It's like a combination of like people and machines. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You're making me want to dance.
She's always dancing. I'm glad you went dancing.
My life is a club. My life is a nightclub.
Your life is a club. I wish my life was a club. It's my life's a bit boring right now, but I'm gonna get there.
It's not boring. It's not boring right now.
It's not boring. Yeah, not at this instant. Correct. You're right. Absolutely right. Do you ever feel like a song is ever done, or are you one of those artists that are like constantly tweaking it?
A song is done.
A song is done.
I feel like when a song is done, it's done.
Okay.
Hypothetically, you can tweak a song forever.
Yes.
I'm of the ilk that when you write the verse and the chorus, or let's say it's a dance song without verses and chorus, when you write all the parts and then you do the sound design and you mix and master it, call it a day. Move on to the next.
I get it. So move on to the next. That goes for a lot further than just music.
It's a philosophical statement.
That's it. That's right. She's getting deep with us. All right, cool. And what is your favorite song that you've put out so far?
The one that I'm currently working on.
Okay. What's the name of it?
This one's called I Am You.
You or me? So this is freaking me out. All right, cool. Well, now I can finally sing then. All right, if you were me, this
exactly.
is pretty awesome.
So I can basically, yes, as you were saying.
Yes. So why is that your favorite song?
Because it reflects my most current skill sets.
Right.
My most current life experiences. I feel like every song I write is an improvement from the last song.
I get it.
I gain new skills.
I get it.
I hone my craft in further, which it's interesting because as time has gone on, I've developed a system for writing songs kind of out of nowhere.
That's amazing.
I just kept doing it, and as time went on more and more, I developed this process just from scratch. So every single time I write a new song, I'm realizing that I'm honing in on the process that I've already developed.
That's amazing. So because you have that experience from writing your previous songs, the songs just keep getting better and better. The music keeps getting better and better.
I just hone in more and more on this style.
Oh, yeah. And you kind of figure out who you are, as a musician more and more. That's dope. All right. What is the most enjoyable part of the process? So Is it the thinking of the idea, or is it the writing of the lyrics? Is it the performing of the song, or is it post production? Like what's your favorite part?
I have two favorite parts.
Okay.
One is
That's cheating. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Well, I have one favorite part that's broken up into two.
That's all right. Fine. Go ahead.
It's the creative process. It's generating the idea. It's putting together different types of ideas.
Right.
It's taking an idea and then developing it, fleshing it out.
Understand.
But just the generation of the idea or of the song. And then performing it. I love to perform.
Yeah.
I think that in and of itself is a creative process because you're creating music in real time. You're creating an experience with an audience.
I get it. Yeah, that's instant feedback, right? Like right there.
Instant feedback, and I feed a lot on other people's feed. Other people's energy.
Gotcha.
The things that people are saying, like my conversation with you is a lot more interesting than it would be if I was talking to myself.
Right. I like to hope so. Yeah, thank you. So I appreciate it.
I feel the same way about a musical performance.
Amazing.
It's more interesting. You feed off of the creative energies of your audience and whoever else is around.
I can only imagine. I was on stage at a Black Keys concert once, and it changed my life. Like you really do feel the energy.
Oh yeah, they're great.
So what's your least enjoyable part of the process?
Rejection.
Rejection. Yeah.
I'm at a point in my career where I'm sending my stuff out to a lot of people.
Right.
I'm meeting a lot of new people for potential collaborations.
Gotcha.
And sometimes I just get ignored.
And that sucks. Yeah.
And it happens with everyone, but I either get ignored or worse, people just say they don't like my work.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't take it personally. Sometimes I feel like I'm about to, but I'm at a point where I haven't had enough positive reinforcement to have a thick skin where rejection doesn't hurt me.
Right. So you're like right at that, almost like that middle ground. Like you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And you're getting rejected, but like you haven't got to the point where you just kind of don't give a shit yet. But,
right. I mean, I'll probably stop giving a shit, and I'm stopping to give a shit. Yeah. I'll stop giving a shit more and more as I get more positive reinforcement, because then, I have my supporters, and I have the people that I'm working with, and once I have that, nothing else matters. Then, because I have those people.
That's amazing.
And you don't need everyone to like what you're doing. In fact, if people dislike what you're doing, it means at least you're creating a response. So yeah, rejection is the part I like the least.
Of course. I think that's a very honest answer.
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely makes sense.
I love everything about the creative process.
Yeah.
I even like the editing and the mastering and all the technical stuff that can be tedious. I actually enjoy that too.
Right.
I just don't like the rejection, and I don't like putting something out and then it doesn't do anything, and I have to really, really, really hustle to get attention for it. Yeah. That's not that fun.
No, I can only imagine. It's kind of part of the game. I guess not that many people just hit it off straight away, but I really feel like in the long run, they'll definitely make you, a better artist. You have more stories.
Exactly. And I mean, everyone does. Everyone has to go through it. So.
Do you think that your music has evolved, or do you think it's kind of like, I know who I am, this is what I'm doing, or is it like sort of thing where it's like the different places in your life sort of determine what your music is going to sound like?
A little bit of everything.
Okay.
It definitely has evolved. I started as a rock musician, rock singer.
Yeah, I like pencil leather jacket. Yeah, I'm with it.
And then I got more into, when I was in college, I bought a synthesizer. So I started with the synthesizer.
The synthesizer.
But for a while, I was still doing music that sounded like it was from the 1980s.
Gotcha.
Because I was not that up to date with production skills.
Okay.
And I hadn't done a lot of DJing at the time, and I just was kind of isolated. I wasn't really engaging with the world. I didn't know what popular music was.
Gotcha. Wow. So you have to figure that out.
So as I sort of absorbed more of that, my music started to sound more modern.
Gotcha. Of course.
So it's still, in some ways, it still has the rock roots. My voice still sounds like my voice.
Right.
And it's still got some of the rock values, or originality and creativity.
Right.
But I've just kind of transformed it into a modern sound.
Of course, of course. I think it's hard to be like in any environment and not absorb some of that. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's amazing.
And I would like to absorb it too.
Of course,
because I don't want my stuff sounding like 1980.
Yeah, like 1980.
I gotta keep up with it.
No, it could be a little dated. You know what I mean? If you keep it that way. What is it? So as far as your career, right? So you're saying that, you know, you're at the part where you're getting a lot of rejections, but you know you're moving forward and your music is also growing. So if you were to hit it off today, no more rejections, you know what I mean? And
but I want to clarify something. I'm also getting a lot of acceptances.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So,
we need to know that. You're getting a lot of acceptances also.
Yeah.
And if those thank you, because if those acceptances kept on going and you like, you know, became like a smash hit tomorrow, what would you want your career like trajectory to look like? Do you want to like go in, make a lot of money real fast, and then, you know, go small time, or do you want to, you know, stay on top for a long time? Or, you know, do you want to be in the studio? Do you want to go on tour? Like, what would your dream career look like?
I would like to go on tour. I'd like to tour the world. I'd like to be playing large shows in front of people from all different countries.
That sounds badass.
Either as a singer or as a DJ, but just bringing forth this energy all over the world. And then also, I'd like to collaborate with some of the greatest minds and artists.
Absolutely.
To generate new music and new piece of art.
Absolutely. And who would those artists be? Like, who would be some of the artists that you would work with?
Well, my answer changes every minute.
Who is it this minute?
This minute? Oh, God. I like Armin van Buuren a lot.
Yes.
But also some pop stars. I would love to work with Bruno Mars.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Quincy Jones. If he's,
Absolutely,
he's still making music.
I think, I don't know if he could ever stop making music.
I'd love to collaborate with movie stars, maybe make some sort of a music video. There's all sorts of things that, you know, there's so many different directions it can go.
Absolutely. All right, cool. I think you hit the nail on the head. I was going to ask you if you wouldn't mind doing other genres, but Bruno Mars is definitely not techno, so I guess you kind of answered that question. What's that? And I got a question for you, because some artists, like, they say they want to keep it as pure as possible, so they really don't I don't want to say they don't care about the audience, but their music is very personal.
Sure.
And then other artists say that, you know, it's kind of a conversation with the audience. So, you know, depending on what the audience likes or kind of expects from them, they'll put out music that way. What kind of artist do you think that your music sort of lends you as? Like, would you say that you're more of a sort of like interacting with the audience, or is it very personal, you know what you're going to do, and it doesn't matter kind of what anybody else thinks?
It's a mix.
Okay.
At the beginning, obviously, when I'm writing a song, when I'm generating the sound, it has not been put out yet, so it's going to be personal.
Okay.
It comes from a personal place. It comes from my own imagination, my happy world of music and creativity. And I do put it out, and it is an interaction between me and the audience, because what happens is I find that the audience is gravitating more towards certain things that I'm doing.
Okay.
For example, they're gravitating towards my singing a lot.
Yes.
A lot of people are asking me to sing on their records.
Yes.
Which I didn't necessarily know if that was going to be a thing. But because of the fact that they're gravitating towards my singing, now I'm working on honing my vocal skills.
That's awesome.
So my whole sort of career in my art does get affected by how I engage with the world.
It's amazing. And, you know, that's really crazy because, you know, like, I love the fact that about your singing is that it's so profound, right? Like, so you have, like, these, like, you know, deep techno beats, and sometimes you hear just, like, the music before you actually get to the words. But then when you do hear the words, like, it's kind of positive and profound. Do you... In Anna in real life, do you find yourself as a more profound person, or more of like the techno part, which is more party? Like who's Anna, you know, off stage?
Both.
All right, cool.
I am a deeply profound person.
Yes.
I sometimes manage that in social situations because it's not necessarily appropriate to recite a poem to someone on the elevator. But
it can be. I mean, it depends.
I try to keep things light, you know. I think that I can't drag myself too down with deep thought. I like to party.
Yeah.
As long as there's meaning behind the party.
I get you.
You know, I don't want to just get trashed all the time and sleep with a lot of people and do cocaine and then do the same thing again the next day.
Right, yeah, no,
but
I get it.
I'm a high energy person. I
right.
like to have fun. I like to party. I like to dance. I like to meet people. So to answer your question, both.
Both. I'm with it. I'm with it. Yeah, you seem like that's kind of like your thing. Like, you know, you kind of like a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, I mean, everything, I don't have very black and white thinking.
Right.
Everything is kind of there's a lot of gray areas in life. And it's hard for me to ignore those and to really classify something very strictly as this cool. or that.
I get you. I get you. Want it all.
I want it all.
No, ain't nothing wrong with that. So, my second to last question is, if you weren't doing music, right? What would you do? What would you be doing?
Well, there's a long list of things.
Give me the top three.
Top three. I would be writing, literary writing, like
okay.
screenplays.
Uh-huh.
I'd be acting.
Acting. Okay.
And I'd be a scientist.
A scientist. Wow. So all creative things.
All creative things, and I do believe that I'm exercising all of those talents though in music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing lyrics, which are little screenplays.
True. Absolutely.
And especially if a movie gets shot to the lyrics.
That'd be
That's a screenplay essentially. I'm acting because I'm acting out as a singer, I'm acting out the story.
Yes.
I'm also acting out on stage as the character of the story, or as the character of N.Y.C, the rock star. It's acting.
Gotcha.
And the science part is that it's like a lab, and I'm testing out the music. I'm seeing how does this resonate with people.
Gotcha.
Then I go back into the lab, and sometimes I tweak things to make it resonate better.
In the lab, I like it. Dope. And I guess my last question is, why N.Y.C? Like why? Like what is the story behind the last name N.Y.C?
Well, my real name is Anna Offcaesar.
Okay.
It's a long, complicated German name.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's very difficult to spell. When I'm on the phone with customer service reps, I have to spell it out like 6 times.
It's terrible.
It's really annoying.
It sounds so terrible.
I just take a deep breath.
My last name is Harris, so it's a lot easier. Yeah, a lot easier than yes, that's amazing.
So I'm like, I can't. There's no way I can make it as an artist if I have this name.
Yes, I get it.
I shortened the name Offcaesar to Awe, and then I respelled it A-W-E.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the name because Awe can also have lots of other meanings.
Gotcha.
It can be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It can be awe-inspiring.
That's amazing. Yes, awe-inspiring.
It's just like a cool alliteration. And awe, and awe, and awe, yeah.
Absolutely.
It rolls off the tongue easily.
Absolutely. And you were saying that when you type in searches and stuff like that, your name comes up first because you got the 2 A's.
If you know how in Wikipedia everything's alphabetical.
Right. Gotcha. Yes.
Either by first name or by last name.
But you're gonna be at the top of the list either way.
So it's a practical choice too.
That's dope. That's
just kind of a side benefit.
There you go. You're always like practical and creative. There you go.
Exactly. I mean,
best of both worlds as usual. Yeah.
A lot of art comes out of practical things that happen. So.
Absolutely. At least in my life, I've discovered that. That's amazing. Well, I think that's everything that I have for you. Thank you for joining me on this lovely night.
Absolutely.
N.Y.C, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think that's it for tonight, and we're out.
We're out.